Welcome back to the 17th episode of the Diving Into Sports podcast with your hosts Lyle
and Nash.
Henry. Let's dive into today's topic. NFL Week 12 finishing up last night where the Bears played the Vikings, but we're going to go in reverse back to the beginning of the week on Thanksgiving and go game by game, giving our thoughts. First up, the Packers played at the Lions and won 29-22. A bit of a shocker. Nash, take it away.
I honestly wasn't quite surprised about this one, but nonetheless, a huge win for Green Bay. Very young offense. A.J. Dillon played very well. Jordan Love, maybe his best game of his career. Packers really shined, and I think they're going to continue to move up in the ranks, obviously because they've one of the younger teams in the league.
Yeah, the Packers came off a win against the Chargers, and now they beat the Lions, too. The Chargers aren't very good, but the Lions, I thought, might have been the best team in the league, even if that sounds crazy. Not anymore. But Jordan Love is on fire. He's playing like people thought he would at the beginning of the year. So it's great to see that, and I'm sure Packers fans are thrilled with this. Next up, Commanders at Cowboys. Cowboys got the win 45-10 in blowout fashion on Thanksgiving. A lot of people tuned in, as always. It's a dinner time game at Thanksgiving.
The fourth most watched NFL regular season game of all time. Pretty crazy.
But it was a 35-point game, and the Commanders got their pulp beaten out of them. So it was gross.
Yeah, I mean, it was really ugly. The Commanders just don't have much firepower on offense. Sam Howell hasn't been super impressive, and the Cowboys, obviously, one of the best defenses in the league. One of their DBs got his fifth pick six of the year so far record through Week 12, so really crazy stuff. And then the last game on Thanksgiving, we got the Seahawks and the Niners playing in Seattle. And the Seahawks were trying to pull off a big upset to vault themselves up near the top in the division, and the 49ers would not let that happen. They won 31-13. George Kittle, solid game. Deebo Samuel. Everything was clicking. I mean, that 49ers defense and offense, both lethal. One of the better teams in the league, for sure.
At this point, it's hard to say the Seahawks are still contenders because they don't impress me very much. And this 49ers team is good. Brock Purdy is really good. And they always fly under the radar, but they're always a good football team. And they continue to stay that way. And a big win for them. So really, the only good game on Thanksgiving was the Packers-Lions game. The only close one, at least. Next game is the Black Friday game, and you guessed it, another blowout. Dolphins at the Jets. Dolphins won 34-13. Jets are pathetic. Zach Wilson benched for Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle started. It was ugly. I hope you didn't watch that game. I really hope you didn't.
Yeah, I don't really honestly know what the Jets have done with the year. In my opinion, they threw it out. I mean, you go from Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, your quarterback you expected to have the whole year, one of the better quarterbacks of all time, obviously. Huge trade acquisition in the offseason. But then he gets hurt. He's probably out for the year, although now he's saying he might come back. But then you go to Zach Wilson, who you've already dogged on. Sal's already said they're going to move on from him. Yet they give him another chance. People all get hyped up after they get close against the Chiefs, and then people are back on the Zach Wilson train. I never was, though, because he never really impressed me. They're a super low-scoring team, got benched now for Tim Boyle, back to the old days. Really a wasted season, in my opinion. They should have grabbed a quarterback when they had the chance after Rodgers got injured. They're just struggling mightily, and they have no shot at the playoffs now.
Yeah. Next up, we move to the Sunday games. Buccaneers at Colts to start it out at 1 o'clock, and Colts got the win at home 27-20. Obviously, being from Indiana, we have a lot of Colts fans around us. Neither of us are Colts fans, so we're familiar with the team, though. They're a wishy-washy squad. You never know what to expect from them. And this game felt really weird, but the Colts were able to pull it out. They got off to a great start, and they didn't look back. I mean, they kind of did. Buccaneers tightened it a little bit, but Colts ended up separating for the dub.
Yeah, Minshew's really been doing well there, and tough to see Jonathan Taylor. It sounds like he might be out this upcoming week with a thumb injury he sustained that game. But big win for the Colts against the Bucs, who are a contender for the playoffs. Colts actually hold the wild card spot right now in the AFC if the playoffs start today. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but you never know. Colts have had a really up and down last couple years, and it would be big for them if they could go far, especially with the backup in Minshew.
Yeah. It would be great to see them make the playoffs. But Patriots-Giants next. America's ugliest game of the week. Patriots lost. Giants won 10-7. 10-7. Are we surprised? Absolutely not. These teams are horrible. Patriots, I will say it once, and I'll say it 100 times more. The New England Patriots are the worst team in the NFL, and it's not even close. Mac Jones, horrible. Bailey Zappi, horrible. This team, horrible. That's all I've got.
Well, I mean, it just shows when you've got Tommy DeVito, a rookie from Illinois, who's not even drafted in the top 5 round, just beating the Patriots and Bill Belichick. It just shows how bad this team is. I mean, you got Mac Jones, one of the highest prospects in recent years, losing to Tommy DeVito. Pretty crazy. Just surprised to see the Patriots fall so bad this year.
Next up, Steelers-Bengals playing in Cincinnati, and I'll give a little shout-out because I know we've got some family listening in Pennsylvania, Steelers fans. They got the win 16-10, and they're good. I mean, you can't deny it. They are 7-4, and they've got a real chance at making a run in the playoffs, whether you like it or not. They fired Matt Canada, and now they've found a spark. Kenny Pickett had a great game. This team had a great game. They won.
Yeah, happy to see the Steelers get the win here. I obviously like them much better than the Bengals. I mean, they played well. Their offense was still kind of struggling, but one of their bigger games in recent years, after Canada leaves, it kind of speaks to how bad he was. But I think the Steelers are going to have a good shot at making the playoffs, especially because they have one of the easiest remaining schedules. Bengals really have hit a downslide since Burrow's gone. They've got Jake Browning now, kind of just a mediocre backup in my opinion. Did well in college, but Steelers obviously the better team here and played like that.
I agree. Panthers at Titans next. This isn't the ugliest game of the week. This is America's second ugliest game of the week. Both these teams are also horrible. Panthers fired Frank Reich after the game. They fired their coach after the game in his first year. Just sloppy. Titans won by 7. They're the only team that would only beat the Panthers by 7, though. I mean, actually, the Patriots would probably lose to the Panthers, but yeah. People believe in Will Levis. I do not. He had less than 200 yards passing this game, even though they got the win. Neither of these teams have much promise.
Yeah, both teams are in really, really sour spots right now. I mean, Titans, they don't even know what to do at the quarterback position. They got Malik Willis, Will Levis, and Ryan Tannehill on the roster. All of them could start. None of them have really showed promise late in the NFL. Titans are really struggling, but then you've got the Panthers, the worst record in the league. They fired 4 of their coaches yesterday after that game. I mean, they're a total dumpster fire right now, their organization. So two of the worst managed teams in the league right now, and facing off Titans barely eke out the win.
Next up, on Sunday at 1 as well, Jaguars at Texans. Nash, a big Jags fan, obviously happy. This game was supposed to be a great game. It was a great game, entertaining until the end. Nash, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, this game was awesome. As a huge Jags fan, one of the best games I've watched in recent years, and huge for us. We now are up by 2 games in our division. Best start since 2007. Played awesome today. On Sunday. Lawrence had a great day. ETN was solid again. Backup running backs filling well. Defense held Stroud to less yards than Lawrence. We really proved that we own the AFC South. We run the division, in my opinion at least. I think we're definitely the big favorites to win and have one of the higher seeds in the AFC. Just huge. 8-3 record now. Everything going good. Great time to be a Jags fan, and this game was awesome, especially with that wild ending. Worked out in our favor.
Yeah, doinked kick for the Texans to send it to overtime, and
Matt
the Jags
Amendola
got the win. Saints-Falcons next. Saints at the Falcons. Both of these teams are now 5-6, after the Falcons got the win 24-15. The Saints are horrible. Derek Carr is overrated, and I think the Falcons, Bijan Robinson carries this team, but I think they'll be good soon. They're not good this year, but a nice win for them.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about this game, but I will say it was one of the bigger surprises to me, at least, of the week. I thought the Saints were going to win this one. I know it was in Atlanta, but in my opinion, they have a better collective offense. I mean, the Falcons have Bijan Robinson, but they really haven't been using him quite as much lately. Last couple weeks more than a few weeks before that, but really just a slow offense for both teams, and Falcons get the win.
Next up, Rams at Cardinals. Cardinals fall to 2-10 after the Rams beat them 37-14, an absolute schmacker. And Kyler Murray is coming back.
He's back.
Been back for a few games, but he's in the process of it, and he's struggling. He didn't have a horrible game, no interceptions on Sunday, but they lost by 23. Matthew Stafford had a field day, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, Rams are just the better team. Cardinals, at this point, they don't even care quite much because they know they're going to need some high draft picks, presumably for the offensive line. Kyler Murray has been one of the most pressured quarterbacks lately, and obviously he's had a struggled return, but they need some help, and the Rams, surprised to see them get such a big win, but they've still got some firepower on that offense, and, I mean, some big players there you've got Stafford, who's leading them, and he's a good quarterback.
Yeah. So next up, Browns at Broncos. Broncos got the win 29-12. Let Russ cook is what's happening right now. Broncos are on fire. And Russ he had a rough stat line, I've got to be honest. He only had 134 yards, but they won by 17, and they have a winning record now.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I'm not still on the Broncos hype train. They don't impress me a ton. They beat some decent teams like the Vikings and the Browns, but not great teams, and I think they're going to face some trouble when they go up against some other opponents. Even the Chargers could spell some trouble for them, in my opinion.
Next game, Bills at Eagles, game of the week. It's hard to argue that. In overtime, Eagles won at home 37-34. It was a thriller. Josh Allen versus Jalen Hurts. You can ask for much better than that. And on CBS, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, just perfect. Eagles are scary good. Scary good. If I were to pick a Super Bowl team right now, I'd have to go with the Eagles, and that's simply because they're 10-1, and they've looked good in every single game, and it's hard to stop them right now, and it's almost impossible. The only game they looked bad in was that Jets game. That loss, that was horrible. Their only loss was to Zach Wilson, but move on now.
Well, I would argue that the Jags game was the best game of the week, but this game was obviously super, super fun to watch and huge for all of the AFC wildcard contenders such as the Steelers and the Colts, because now that the Bills get another loss, they are out of the playoff picture as of now and puts Colts in and Steelers good chance. So really some teams really helped by that win.
Yeah, a lot of teams helped. Chiefs at Raiders is next. Raiders got off to an early start, but Chiefs ended up good start early on, and then the Chiefs ended up winning 31-17. Aiden O'Connell was not given what he wanted in the second half. They had a really good start, and I thought, wow, maybe this could be an upset. I was foolish to think that. I was really foolish. The Raiders are horrible, and the Chiefs are, sadly, my least favorite NFL team, but sadly they're again one in the top 5 best teams in the NFL, so always up there.
Yeah, wish the Raiders would have gotten the win, but it is hard to beat Patrick Mahomes, and it is hard to beat Patrick Mahomes with a quarterback with very limited NFL experience. So not super surprised by this. Raiders put up a good fight, though.
2 more games to go now. First, we've got Ravens at Chargers. Chargers, my favorite team. It was really bad. Ravens won 20-10, but the score doesn't show the whole story. The Chargers are in an endless spell right now that the only way they're going to end it is by getting a new coach. I really believe that. And that's what every Chargers fan believes. They want Staley out, and it's not going to happen till the end of the season. It's just how Dean Spanos rolls. But Justin Herbert has he hasn't been able to get much rolling lately. I mean, only 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. If we could only go back to his rookie year where he just slinged it game after game, but not now. We're having a tough time scoring, and defense has been shaky too, so really rough. 4-7 gross.
Yeah, let me just say it. Brandon Staley is a problem to this offense and to this program. The Chargers have one of the better rosters in the league, and they just aren't using it. They've got Joey Bosa, who is injured, but Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Justin Herbert, some great athletes, and they're just not putting it to use right now, and it's sad to watch, really. They should be a team that could beat the Ravens, but obviously it's just not super competitive, especially because it was in LA. They're just struggling.
Yeah, really sad to see. Last game, Monday Night Football, Bears beat the Vikings in Minnesota 12-10. Ugh. Josh Dobbs had a rough game, and he's the reason the Vikings lost. Justin Fields didn't have a great game, but the Bears won. Dobbs' bad play handed the Bears that win. The Bears did not deserve to win. The Bears never deserve to win. Bears, Panthers, Patriots, they're the 3 worst. Bears got a win, though, and they're now at 4 wins, which is just crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, neither of these teams are going to make the playoffs. Vikings still have a chance, but they're not good enough. Josh Dobbs is a fun story. He's a very talented player, but he's not going to beat every team that he might even be favored to beat. Like the Bears, they shouldn't have won that game, but Josh Dobbs did not play well. Multiple interceptions. Bears defense is pretty solid, so very, very junky game to watch, but congrats to the Bears. Matt Eberflus, his first divisional win, member of the Chicago Bears coaching staff. Really sad.
Yeah.
1-9.
Poverty franchise right now. Bears, but maybe they could turn it around with Justin Fields here in the future. I don't know. Well, that concludes this week of football. It was fun. Not for the Chargers, it was for the Jaguars, but it was a really fun week of football, as always. The season is winding down, and before we know it, it'll be over, but we'll keep doing these. We're going to try to post once a day. It's going to be a hard goal, but I think we'll be able to do it. But that was fun. We'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Go Jags. Remember, you can listen to Diving into Sports on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Pocket Casts, and Stitcher. We'd love it if you could follow us on all of those platforms. And check out our Twitter account. Our handle is @NashAndLyle.
By the way, we're now available on Google Podcasts as well.